Hey everyone, this is Ken Brownlee with the Brownlee Group, Keller Williams, Suburban Tampa. I know you have a lot of questions. We're going to cover the top 5 questions people want to ask a roofer. We have Steve Straub with us today with Musick Roofing that is going to answer the top 5 questions that you have. So please stay tuned and follow us along. Steve, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Tell me a little bit about yourself, if you would. How long you been doing roofing and so forth?
Yeah, I've been involved with roofing for, probably over 10 years, 15 years or so. I was part of a missions agency, actually, that we would go into the inner city of some of the southeast cities like Birmingham, Charlotte, Savannah, and we would actually go into neighborhoods and help people get roofs on their roof that couldn't afford it. And we would get sponsorships for that. And so
it was on a mission side?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the labor side of it, I've been a part of it for, since probably 2005. As far as music roofing, Mike and I have known each other for 30 years, and we decided to really focus on the roofing aspect of music construction and roofing about 4 years ago. And it's been a blast ever since.
Well, we're going to cover the 5 top things, and we're going to start with number 5. And number 5 is I'm in the real estate, obviously, and people have to replace a roof sometimes to sell a house, but they don't have the money. Can you maybe do a roof and get paid at closing when they get their money to reimburse if they don't have it, or do you have a finance plan?
Yeah, it's a great question. We do work with people that have their house on the market, and typically what happens is they'll get a contract, and then once the insurance gets involved for the future buyer, a lot of times they require a roof to be put on. And so we work with our realtor friends to accommodate that. And, a lot of times people don't have $15,000 laying around. And so we give that option for them to pay us after they close on the house when we put that roof on before closing.
I like to get a good deal. Mm-hmm. And when I say that is sometimes I don't like to pay for things right now and I can wait a week and get a check from my other. You can work with them as well. Like they have the funds, but they just want you to get paid at closing, or is that just...
Absolutely, yeah. We that happens actually quite a bit. And so we understand people's different financial situations. And so we really try to work hard in our community to accommodate that for people. So,
okay, perfect. Another, I guess, question number 4 that comes up a lot for us especially is, do I have to be there? Because sometimes we have out-of-state sellers, or we have people that are gone a lot. Mm-hmm. Do they have to be there? Do they have to, what do they need to do to work with you to get a roof on?
Yeah, so that's another great question. In fact, we recommend that you're not there because it's messy, right? We're taking 13,000 pounds of material off of your roof. Sometimes we can't really predict where it's going to go. Nails are flying everywhere. It's loud. So if you're trying to work from home, it could get irritating. And so a lot of times we tell the people if there's something that you can do throughout the day while we put this roof on, it would probably be more convenient for you.
Okay. When do you really need to replace a roof? That's the number 3 question is, when do you need to replace it? And I'm asking this because I run across people that have 25-year shingles, 25-year, and I have 20-year shingles, and it didn't hit the 20-year mark and the 25-year mark. When do you know?
Yeah, there is a lot of different things that come into play when it's answering that question. Florida is brutal. The elements in Florida are brutal on roofs. And so no 2 roofs are the same when it comes to trying to evaluate whether or not you need a new one. Sometimes storms in different areas affect roofs differently than 5 miles down the road. And so we actually provide a free evaluation where we will come out and help you with that process. The other thing that is in play now, especially, is the insurance world. Sometimes we do not get to even have a say in whether or not you need a new roof because the insurance has already stepped in and said, sorry, you need a new roof. And so we just really try to help our customers with that process and help them understand why. A lot of times it's granule loss or you have missing shingles. So there's several things that come into play with that.
And then brings up the topic when this is not the top 5, but cleaning a roof. Who do you recommend? How do you recommend? Or do you even recommend?
That's a gray area because we've seen some people try to clean their own with a pressure washer. We do not recommend that. That really not only takes the life out of the roof by washing away granules, but you could also void your warranty that you have. But there are some good roofing cleaning companies out there that use a very light way with some bleach and other materials to wash roofs that could be beneficial to that. So
Okay. And then selling a home. This is question number 2. We're getting close to the top. But selling a home, should they really put a roof on if you still have 5 years left or 3 years left or 2 years left? Is that what you would recommend or not?
Yeah, so again, a lot of times for the future buyer, it's what their insurance company is going to decide. So it's going to be a subjective thing depending on what their insurance company says. But we also want to prepare the seller because a lot of times, as you know, it could really help with the sale of the home if they have a newer roof as opposed to a 12, 13, 15-year-old roof. And so that's just something that we try to help them in that process because it's probably the number one most expensive thing that you have to invest in on your home. So
My opinion, this is just mine, is if you've got 5 years or more, leave it alone. And if it's less than 5, negotiate based on what the insurance company says. Because certain loans, you have to have 3 to 5 years. Sometimes if it's cash buyer, they don't need it. But conventional, I think they only need like 2 or 3 years of life. So negotiate that part, but anything of 5 years or newer, let her go. But I also understand the insurance companies are going to try to say if a roof is over 10 years old, they're trying to get this passed, last I heard. If it's over 10 years, it has to have a new roof.
Yeah, so we're seeing that across the state right now. Is the insurance world are really influencing that choice for you. We're seeing people right now being dropped because of the condition of the roof, and the roof is only 10 years old, 11 years old. And so Florida is really starting to crack down on what that evaluation is when it comes to insurance getting involved.
And again, this is another topic that we can make a whole 30-minute video on. It's a lot of these, what I call the scammers that would knock on your door and say, I can get a whole new roof put on you with insurance paying for it. Insurance companies got tired of this. That's gone on for years because people were faking a storm damage when it was really just an old roof, a bad job, any kind of problem, and they were getting it covered under insurance. So now insurance is changing the rules on us. And I understand why, because it's costing them money, which then costs us all money. Now it comes to the number one question. The number one is, how long does it take to put on a roof? And it's twofold, because sometimes I think it's the supplies and demand, which we want to cover, but also just getting it from start to finish, nuts to bolts.
Yeah, so honestly, most normal size roofs, we can probably get done in a day, especially this time of year when we have beautiful weather. If it's a little bit bigger size roof, typically we're a 2 to 3 day process, but we can't predict the weather, right? So sometimes we'll have to, accommodate whatever system's rolling through at the time. As far as materials, there are some certain areas of roofing right now that's being affected by that, particularly the flat roof industry. TPO is a product that's starting to become very hard to get our hands on.
TPO is a product?
Yeah, it's a roofing material that most commercial buildings use, but it's getting more and more popular in the residential world. But as far as shingles, modified bitumen, flat roof material, we still can get that pretty easily. So it's not affecting the process too much.
We hit the top 5 that most roofers are hit on with questions. I hope you appreciate it. Check out Musick Roofing. They're in Lakeland, but you cover multiple counties.
Yep, we cover all of Central Florida, particularly the 5 counties of the Tampa Bay market.
Awesome. And do me a favor, if there's a question that we missed about roofing that you have, please write it in the comments on questions that you want to address, because there could be about layment, should you insulate, what kind of caps, all these topics, and how you ventilate your roof to keep it to last, or what can you do to make it last longer. My biggest question that I would love to cover is the types of roof that are out there, what's the best to go? And you do everything in the roofing world, like dimensional, three tab. So ask those questions, come back to us, and we'll present. Thank you.
Thank you.